to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks. Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Oh, here we are. Hello, world. Hello. Yeah. Good to be here on this Friday. It is a Friday, right? I'm pretty sure it's Friday. Hoping everybody's doing good today. Phone number, in case you didn't know, 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC. And like I said, it is a Friday. We're going to have some fun today, man. Yeah. Oh, we had college football last night, didn't we? We really did. It happened. It did happen. The fact that we sat down, we all went home last night and said, well, let's see what kind of sports are on. And then all of a sudden, it was a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of college football. Now tonight, we get into the high school scene as well. We're going to talk about high school football, second week of games starting today. Some schools just starting their season this week. Others going into their second, even their third game, some schools. So we're going to talk about a few big ones that I've pulled out here. Statesville at Lake Norman. It seems like the local area writers, especially for the Charlotte Tribune down there, they got that one highlighted as a big game this week, and I'm surprised to see that a majority of these writers are picking Statesville to get the win. That's just a little bit of the high school football scene that we are going to be talking about today. Also in the world of sports is Major League Baseball. The Phillies and the Braves in a series right now. Last night, the Phillies were able to extend their lead in the division by a game with a clutch one-run win over the Braves. And Nick Castellanos, the hero in that one, with a late game two-run home run to give the Phillies the lead and eventually the win. So we'll be talking about that quite a bit today, actually. Yeah, quite a bit. Baseball, NASCAR, the NASCAR Cup Series. No, we have not forgotten about NASCAR. I know I talk about it every now and then. Well, pretty much all the time now. But the NASCAR Cup Series heads to Darlington. Yes, the Southern 500 is this weekend. One of the crown jewels of NASCAR. And it is a little bit weird, I'll say, that we have the season finale, the regular season finale, that is, at Darlington. I can't really wrap my head around it, especially because when you look, and it's not that I have a problem with this, okay? It's just NASCAR took Throwback Weekend away from the Southern 500, right? They said, we don't want Throwback Weekend to be the Southern 500. We want it to be, playoffs and Southern 500. In the spring, we'll worry about Throwback Weekend. I'm not a fan of that. I think Throwback Weekend should be during the Southern 500. But also, they said in that, when they switched it up on us, they said they wanted the focus to be on the Southern 500, not throwbacks. Well, now Darlington's focus is the final race of the regular season. And it's not going to be the fact that it's the Southern 500. We're going to be talking about the final spots up for grab in the playoffs. So I don't know. I just don't know what NASCAR wants. So we're going to preview that a little bit later on in the program today. Have a couple of drivers that we're going to be able to hear from. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because we got to get our NASCAR fill in as the regular season ends. With the end of the regular season, that also means that there's only, get this. I don't know if you're ready for this. 11 races remain in the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. 11. Woo! The end of the season, man, it came up fast. I know it's been a weird season for NASCAR. A lot of people have been praising this season because of all the photo finishes that we've had. I, on the other hand, am not in that boat. It's been an okay season. Yeah, just okay. Not great, not horrible. Just okay. Also in the world of sports, we're going to be talking about a little bit of NHL today. There is some really, really sad news. And actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and start the program with the NHL news. Excuse me, I'm a little stuffed up. All of a sudden, I go live, you hit the live button, and then all of a sudden you get all stuffed up. Give me a second here. Earlier today, it was announced by the NHL, law enforcement up in the state of New Jersey. Johnny Gaudreau, hockey player for the Columbus Blue Jackets, formerly the Calgary Flames, unfortunately lost his life last night at the age of 31. Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew were struck by a car and killed while riding bicycles in their home state of New Jersey. Absolutely devastating news for the hockey community there. Johnny Gaudreau, you may know that name. If you're not too familiar with who Johnny Gaudreau might be, well, you may know the nickname Johnny Hockey. Johnny Gaudreau, very highly touted player once he got into the NHL, high skill level. He earned him the nickname of Johnny Hockey. And he was a 4th-round draft pick. It's not like Gaudreau came into the league and we were like, he's going to be a superstar. He was a 4th-round pick, but he was a very good NCAA player. Hobie Baker Award winner, which is the award for the best collegiate hockey player in the year. He won that award. He won a national championship. Never won a Stanley Cup, unfortunately. But, man, some brutal news out of the hockey world. Johnny Gaudreau, he signed in Columbus a couple of years ago, and he's not going to be able to see that contract through, unfortunately, in that time in the Columbus organization. This is now the second time, and I kind of buried the lead on this one. Gaudreau and his brother were struck and killed by a drunk driver. Just thought you should know that. Yes, a drunk driver. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. If you drive drunk like that, I have no respect for you. 2 people have lost their lives now. 2 hockey players, actually. If you drive drunk, I don't have respect for you. I don't. A very gut-wrenching day in hockey. Johnny Gaudreau, loved around the league. Great person, great player. Very unfortunate, the events that took place yesterday. And, just prayers go out to him and his family. It's a brutal story, man. Their sister was going to be getting married today. They were groomsmen in the service. So we just want to say we are thinking of the Gaudreau family on this day. We're going to head to our first break. When we come back, we'll get into some more things. Back after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the heat's still pretty rough for our Friday. Plenty of sunshine. We'll warm back into the low 90s for the afternoon and track around a scattered showers and thunderstorms going into the afternoon and evening. Heading into the upcoming Labor Day weekend, it'll be a hot one. Temperatures hover around 90 each afternoon, and we'll dodge a few of those pop-up storms each afternoon and evening, too. Stay cool. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Serenity Now Massage Therapy.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree, Lake Norman, and Mooresville presents Vegas McGraw on Thursday, August 29th. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with music starting at 7. The Langtree Live free concert series powered by Waves Entertainment rolls on this Thursday with Vegas McGraw. The Center Stage Alliance holds the Bluegrass Jam on Friday night. Bring your favorite instrument and come jam every Friday at 109 East Broad Street in Statesville. The Iredell County Fair opens Friday night at the Fairgrounds in Troutman. The 88th annual event, sponsored by the Kiwanis Club, features some of the best entertainment in the area, including go-kart racing, carnival rides for all ages, competitive 4-H exhibits and animal shows, the magic of Lance Gifford, and much more. The fair runs through September 7th. Gates and rides open weekdays at 5 p.m. and on weekends at 3 p.m. Tickets are $5, while kids 6 and under are free. Carnival ride tickets and wristbands are available at the ticket box. Enjoy the Iredell County Fair for 9 straight days beginning this Friday at the Fairgrounds in Troutman. The town of Davidson presents the Music and Makers concert series on Saturday. Main Street businesses will feature handmade items produced by local makers. Take advantage of the social district and enjoy live music at the Crazy Pig Stage on 402 South Main Street in Davidson beginning at 2 p.m. On September 7th, see the top riders from the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship as they compete on a custom-built course at Zenax Dragway. The playoff opener features a two-moto format for the 450cc class and the 250cc class, promising plenty of drama and excitement the moment the gates drop. The Super Motocross Fan Fest is a pre-race event taking place from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. where you can see the teams practice, prepare, and qualify for the playoff round and is included in the event ticket. Don't miss the biggest Super Motocross race of the year. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com or the CMS app for information and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Have you taken the Desco Challenge? The people have spoken. Desco is where the professional goes for electrical supplies.
Hi, my name is Randy. I'm a general contractor, and I always trust the products at Desco.
See for yourself at DescoInc.com.
No radio? No worries.
Just ask Alexa to play WSIC.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. The Scoreboard continuing live. Talking a little NHL, mostly because of some news that broke today out of the hockey world. Johnny Gaudreau, his brother Matthew Gaudreau, unfortunately struck by a car and killed last night by a drunk driver in the state of New Jersey. It's brutal, man. It's the second time we've seen an athlete lose their life to a drunk driver in like 2 months. If anybody remembers, Vikings rookie Kyrie Jackson in Maryland was struck by a drunk driver and killed, along with 2 others, by the way, in that one. I'll say it again. If you drive drunk, I have no respect for you. Terrible. We're going to try to lighten the mood here a little bit. That story has been huge all day. It's just heartbreaking. It really is. Gaudreau is a great player, great person. And not only that, like he was a small player, Johnny Gaudreau, giving hope to other small players, really. He was only 5'9", a 5'9" hockey player in the NHL. Not many of them. Not many of them at all. But Gaudreau, man, he will be deeply missed. So prayers to the family and everybody involved as well. We're going to move on, talk a little bit of something else here. We're going to go into the college football world. Yeah, college football was last night. One of the North Carolina schools that was in action last night were the UNC Tar Heels. Tar Heels were taking on Minnesota, the Golden Gophers, on the road. A little bit of a late start last night, and Man, it was an interesting end to that game with a bunch of field goals. And I'll tell you what, that's what happens when you play for field goals on both ends. For the Tar Heels, man, you played for a field goal and you almost lost. You got into field goal range and you decided to stop being aggressive and take your 3. That didn't put you up by more than 3, so a field goal by Minnesota would have won. And the same thing with Minnesota. They stopped being aggressive. They let clock wind down. Now, granted, Minnesota should have won this football game if it wasn't for a holding on the final drive that moved Minnesota back 10 yards. They did get some of that yardage back, but man, they were in the red zone almost when that holding call was thrown, and they escaped with one. That's what I'm going to call it, an escape. It wasn't the best showing on your first game. But hey, it is game 1, and you come out with a win. And the most important thing right now isn't winning every game. I think the more important thing for a lot of these schools is going to be winning your conference games when we get to conference play later in the year. So just something to keep in mind. We've talked about the new playoff format, the new playoff structure being that if you win your conference championship, you have a chance to make the playoffs, no matter what conference it is. You can win the Sun Belt and have a chance to make the playoffs. The way it works, and I'm going to remind you guys every now and then as we head through the college football season, the 5 highest ranked conference champions automatically go to the playoffs. The 5 highest ranked conference champions automatically go to the playoffs. Doesn't matter what conference it is. So if you win your conference championship, there's a chance you're going to the playoffs. Then it's the next 7 teams in the rankings, the college football playoff rankings. So we'll still argue about who's ranked where at the end of the year. We will. Just wait. But I got to keep you guys updated, informed, because it is much different than what it was ever in college football. We do have a caller into the studio here today. Let's go ahead and bring that in. Good afternoon, caller. You are on the scoreboard. What do you have for me today?
Good afternoon, Joe Berg.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, yeah. You knew I'd have to call in and brag a little bit. Yeah, they might have escaped, but we'll take the W. Any W on the road in the Big Ten, we'll definitely take that.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't gotten to it yet, but, man, I got to say, a tough break for Max Johnson there early in the game. That's a tough break, and it didn't look good.
Yeah, it's not sounding too good. Sounds like it's his hip is what they were saying. It looked like his knee, but it must have kind of rolled over and caused some hip issues and whatnot.
It's bad when you see a player get injured and you know that it hurt, but you just looking at the video, you can't tell what got hurt because he got folded up on. I thought it was his left or his right. I thought it could be both sides of his legs, but turns out it's probably a hip injury. But hey, you're right. You came away with a victory on the road. That's a big one. You got to be feeling good about it.
Yeah, definitely. It's now we just got to have the next guy step up and see what he can get done. Kind of got thrown in there, and so we'll just have to see what happens going forward. But at least they got some non-power Big Ten games coming up here the next 3. So hopefully they can get some game plan worked out, and who knows, maybe even Max can get healthy and come back, and maybe it won't be too severe. Just have to wait and see on that, I guess. But I was glad to see they got the victory last night, and a little worried there at the end. They come down and they have a really good kicker, but the Minnesota kicker missed 2 field goals for them last night. So I always hate that when it comes down to, I know it's not just one guy, it's a team thing, but you always feel bad for the, kickers when it's like that, even if it is the other team. I didn't want to see it work out that way, but still glad that the Tar Heels got the victory. Yeah, his second miss of the game, when it came off of his foot initially, I thought it was in. And then it just kept fading and ended up wide, just a little bit wide. I just found the update
I didn't have it before the show, but it just came in here recently. UNC's Max Johnson undergoing season-ending surgery. He will miss the remainder of the season with a broken right leg. That is the update.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
There you go. Sorry to tell you on air, but.
Yeah, and they said they had a, quarterback battle going on. I mean, I don't know how much of that was just hype, but apparently, the backup, Criswell, who's been there before, he was the backup, to Drake May and stuff years ago, and then came back after going to Arkansas. So we'll just see. Maybe one of those guys can step up and have a Tom Brady, similar-esque type breakthrough.
You never know.
Bledsoe, Brady came in, and, you just never know. I mean, not saying that, of course, they won't mean anything like that, but, what I'm saying, be able to come in and be successful and help the program move forward and get some wins. I mean, I'm not expecting like a huge year, but, maybe like a 8-4, 9-3 would probably be a pretty good year for them based on what they got on the schedule. So we'll just have to see how it goes, but it's always fun watching it and pulling for the hills.
Oh, yeah, and they got a couple of nice home games coming up. Charlotte, NC Central, James Madison should be favored in all of those. If they keep winning, you never know. You get into the rankings, maybe they're good in the ACC this year, and it's just one of those years where you really never know. Maybe they find their way in the playoffs. So we'll see.
Yeah. That'd be funny, too, because, they had Drake May, and he was the Heisman candidate, those couple years and all that hype. And then, they just couldn't quite get it done late in the season. So it'd be funny if it turned out this year that they have an even better record than they did, where the people aren't just keying on the quarterback and they got a running game and they actually look like they might have some defense this year. So, we'll just see. It's one game. It's hard to, tell too much out of just one scenario so far, but just gives us something to talk about and look forward to, I guess.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely be covering it and paying attention to the remainder of the Tar Heels season. I appreciate you calling in today.
Yeah, Joe. Have a good weekend, buddy. Talk to
you
you
as
later.
well. Enjoy the nice extended weekend. It is a holiday weekend, Monday being Labor Day. By the way, I'm planning on being here Monday, so I should be chatting with you guys live on air Monday, even though it is a holiday. Expect to hear from me. Just felt like talking to you guys. Why not, right? So, yeah, the update there on the Tar Heels. QB, man, that's a tough-looking injury. Max Johnson, season-ending surgery on a broken right leg. He's going to be back. Probably. Can he get another medical red shirt? Some of the specifics is still, things are still changing in college sports. Even eligibility rules are still changing. So, and he still had a year under his belt from the COVID year. So he's going to be here for 7 years in college football. Who knows? But yeah, the Tar Heels getting a big win last night. Also, some other schools that were in action. In Missouri, number 11, getting a victory. Number 12, Utah. Number 22, Kansas. And NC State, well, they had a great fourth quarter, putting up 21 points to no points in the fourth quarter by Western Carolina for the comeback win, 38-21. We are heading to our next commercial break here. When we return, we're going to turn our attention to a place where they make turns. That being NASCAR. You're not going to want to miss the discussion of the Southern 500 coming up this weekend. We'll be back right after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the heat's still pretty rough for our Friday. Plenty of sunshine. We'll warm back into the low 90s for the afternoon and track around a scattered showers and thunderstorms going into the afternoon and evening. Heading into the upcoming Labor Day weekend, it'll be a hot one. Temperatures hover around 90 each afternoon, and we'll dodge a few of those pop-up storms each afternoon and evening, too. Stay cool. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshlawFirm.com.
More than a century ago, Bunch Johnson Funeral Home was founded on compassion. Let us assist you with pre-planning for funerals and cremations. Our family is here when you need us. Bunch Johnson Funeral Home.
Attention, fellow conservative investors. What does the name Reagan mean to you? It stands for being the ultimate conservative. It also stands for the Reagan Gold Group. Do you see storm clouds approaching? The stock market hates uncertainty, and there are plenty of reasons to be concerned. High inflation, unstable debt, and economic uncertainty are just a few. You have car insurance, homeowners insurance, and life insurance. But do you have insurance for your retirement savings and your 401k? We urge all fellow conservative investors to learn about the one asset that could help ensure your nest egg doesn't crack under economic pressure. G-O-L-D, gold. Call the one name any conservative investor needs to know about. Reagan Gold Group.
800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. That's 800-296.
Rev up your dreams with a bike from Tilly Harley-Davidson. Whether you're new to Harley or a seasoned pro, Tilly has the bike for you. Come experience the freedom of the ride. Feel the thrill of the road and the thunder that only a Harley can provide. Stop by Tilly Harley-Davidson of Statesville or go to tillyhd.com.
We're at Black Automotive. The Buick Encore GX is now at a low 0.9% for 36 months or a $3,000 rebate. Or the Buick Envista is also 0.9% for 36 months. And there's more here at Black Automotive Statesville.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones once commented that he would be willing to pay an obscene amount if he could guarantee that his team would win the Super Bowl. Jones, speaking about winning a significant prize in football, reminds me of a much greater prize. In Matthew, Jesus describes the remarkable value of God's kingdom, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought the field." Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. Today, let's ask ourselves, do we value the kingdom of heaven as much as some value a Super Bowl? And are we willing to give up whatever it takes to experience the fullness of joy and peace found in Christ? I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks edged up this week at the end of a wild ride on Wall Street over the month of August. This week was hardly an exception, with the Dow breaking its own record high 4 times. Today, the Dow gained 228 points, better than 0.5%. And amid data today showing cooling inflation in July, combined with an increase in consumer spending, the S&P 500 saw its 4th consecutive monthly gain, gaining 56 points or 1%. The Nasdaq did better, gaining 1.1%. In an effort to boost profits and operate more efficiently, British oil giant Shell says it'll be slimming down its oil and gas exploration workforce by about 20%. People familiar tell Bloomberg cuts will also be made to its strategy and portfolio segments. This is on top of the 20% cut to its hundreds of workers handling mergers and acquisitions, as well as staffing cuts in its offshore wind business that were announced earlier this year. I'm Scott Carr, Bloomberg Radio.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's the Scoreboard. Yeah. Oh, we're going to talk some NASCAR now. Yes, it's time to get into the world of those fast race cars that drive in a circle, man. They go round and round. You know how it goes. We're going in a circle again this week. I know it's a surprise that it's not a road course, right? No, I'm just messing around. You're listening to the Scoreboard, 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. And the NASCAR Cup Series turns its attention to Darlington. The Lady in Black, as she has been dubbed, for the final race of the regular season. And man, I am excited for this one. Just an update for you now. We got to go over the points as they stand because there are a few drivers that can still make the playoffs on points. Obviously, we have plenty of drivers that could win their way in. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're more than likely going to see a repeat winner, and we're going to just be looking at the points all day. So let's get into the point situation right now. At the top of the standings, the race for the regular season championship is still on. Things are not settled yet. Tyler Reddick is your point leader as it stands with Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott behind him. Now, those are the only other two drivers that have a chance of catching Reddick. Ryan Blaney, 68 points out. Mathematically, he would not be able to catch Tyler Reddick. So that is how things stand at the top of the standings. I know that's like the kind of exciting for the regular season championship. The more exciting and the thing that we are going to be focused on for an entirety of the 500 miles here on Sunday night, that is the playoff cut line. As things stand, Martin Truex Jr., Ty Gibbs, and Chris Buescher are your three drivers that are in the playoffs that don't have a win. Things could get shuffled. As you know, things could get shuffled. Especially if somebody like Kyle Busch, Michael McDowell, Josh Berry, Eric Jones, if somebody like that gets a win, a monkey wrench gets thrown into the entire playoff structure. Right now, Martin Truex Jr. has a 58-point lead on the playoff cut line. That is down to Chris Buescher and Bubba Wallace. Those are the two drivers that are on that bubble. Buescher in, Bubba out. Ty Gibbs, 39 points ahead of Bubba, and Chris Buescher has a 21-point advantage. Now, if we get a new winner, that's when things get messed up because the playoff cut line moves. Chris Buescher, as it stands, and this is just as things stand, would move out of the playoffs, and that would leave Truex and Gibbs as the two drivers that point their way in. And this is just as things stand. Just letting you know of the situation. Martin Truex Jr., even with that 58-point advantage to Bubba Wallace in the cut line, he is not locked into the playoffs. Because, like I said, if we get a new winner, that playoff cut line moves. Truex would then only be 37 points ahead of the next cut line driver, which would be Chris Buescher. And then we see how the points line up after that. So it's going to be a lot of moving parts on Sunday with who's in, who's out, who's leading the race. I have a feeling, I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling that Eric Jones is going to have a really good race and put a run up for the final win of the regular season. And that would just cause chaos at the playoff cut line. If that happens, I don't believe Bubba or Ross Chastain, the only two drivers out of the playoffs who can point their way in, would be able to point their way in. Mathematically, they can, but it would be really tough to do if that playoff cut line was down to Gibbs and Buescher instead of Buescher and Wallace. But we move along, and we head to the Lady in Black this weekend. Let's go ahead and hear from Ty Gibbs. We heard from him not long ago, talking about, well, what he learned by missing the playoffs last year. Let's go ahead and hear from Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, I learned that it's definitely nice to be locked in before you go to Daytona, that's for sure. And I just, a lot of experience, and I learned so much last year and still learn a lot now, and I'm sure for the rest of my career, but the experience level is just the most important. And, getting used to how the weeks are and, how everything is at the top level, it just takes some time to get used to. And that's what I feel like I've been doing, and I think my team's been doing as well. And my crew chief has had some years in the Cup Series as well with Eric Jones. So, we're all learning, but mostly I'm learning and enjoying it.
He's learning. And I think that's the biggest thing that you heard there is he has learned. And now, because of all the learning he was able to do last year, he finds himself 39 points to the good on the playoff cut line. Still is going to need to put up a good result on Sunday if he wants to make the playoffs. We have a caller into the studio here. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the scoreboard. Uh-oh. Oh, caller, you got me.
You're the Joe person I met. Yes, you're the Joe person from yesterday.
Yes, I am. You got something for sports for us?
The main football season starts the 8th, next Saturday.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, buddy. What was that?
Football season starts next Saturday.
Yeah, actually, football season starts on Thursday, the first game of the year. Ravens-Chiefs, Thursday night football.
But my dad's a fan of the Bengals.
You're a Bengals fan?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Did you look at my channel yet?
I have not. I'm sorry about that.
Well, I really want to talk about, what if you came to my channel panel for a stream?
I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Sorry, man. We are live right now on the air talking on the scoreboard. We're talking sports here. I don't know. Yeah, we're talking sports for the day. So that's what we're going to continue to do. By the way, the Bengals, just because you asked, Bengals Patriots, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Not this Sunday, next Sunday, 1 o'clock. That'll be Bengals Patriots. That's the first game of the year for the Bengals. Back to the NASCAR world, as we were talking about playoffs and cut lines and things like that. Let's hear from another driver, right? Here is one of the drivers that is out of the playoffs currently, Ross Chastain, who has a chance to make the playoffs on points or win his way in. How much do you think they think about those points while they're racing?
I could give you an example of last week at Michigan because it's fresh in my mind. I'd never thought about it when I was in the car until I was stuck in the grass. And at that moment I went, oh no. So yeah, it came flooding in, right? The thoughts of all the cars that were no longer around me that I'd been racing with. So won't be in my mind while I'm racing. I can't I'm sure Chris has said it. I'm sure these other guys have said it. It's just not you can't do that. It's just not possible for me. So we just go race. And
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with what he said. If we remember what he did at Martinsville a couple of years ago, the points were on his mind, which is why Ross Chastain wall rode past 5 cars and made the championship race. But I'm sure that he's going to be getting told what the point situation is throughout the race on Sunday. We're heading to our final commercial break of the program here today. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We got one more segment back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the heat's still pretty rough for our Friday. Plenty of sunshine. We'll warm back into the low 90s for the afternoon and track around to scattered showers and thunderstorms going into the afternoon and evening. Heading into the upcoming Labor Day weekend, it'll be a hot one. Temperatures hover around 90 each afternoon, and we'll dodge a few of those pop-up storms each afternoon and evening, too. Stay cool. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree, Lake Norman, and Mooresville presents Vegas McGraw on Thursday, August 29th. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with music starting at 7. The Langtree Live free concert series powered by Waves Entertainment rolls on this Thursday with Vegas McGraw. The Center Stage Alliance holds the Bluegrass Jam on Friday night. Bring your favorite instrument and come jam every Friday at 109 East Broad Street in Statesville. The Iredell County Fair opens Friday night at the Fairgrounds in Troutman. The 88th annual event, sponsored by the Kiwanis Club, features some of the best entertainment in the area, including go-kart racing, carnival rides for all ages, competitive 4-H exhibits and animal shows, the magic of Lance Gifford, and much more. The fair runs through September 7th. Gates and rides open weekdays at 5 p.m. and on weekends at 3 p.m. Tickets are $5, while kids 6 and under are free. Carnival ride tickets and wristbands are available at the ticket box. Enjoy the Iredell County Fair for 9 straight days beginning this Friday at the Fairgrounds in Troutman. The town of Davidson presents the Music and Makers concert series on Saturday. Main Street businesses will feature handmade items produced by local makers. Take advantage of the social district and enjoy live music at the Crazy Pig Stage on 402 South Main Street in Davidson beginning at 2 p.m. On September 7th, see the top riders from the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship as they compete on a custom-built course at ZMAX Dragway. The playoff opener features a 2-moto format for the 450cc class and the 250cc class, promising plenty of drama and excitement the moment the gates drop. The Super Motocross Fan Fest is a pre-race event taking place from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. where you can see the teams practice, prepare, and qualify for the playoff round and is included in the event ticket. Don't miss the biggest Super Motocross race of the year. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com or the CMS app for information and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Folks, here at Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, we have got the brand new 2025 Chevrolet Traverse in stock, all redesigned from front to back, top to bottom, inside and out. Come see them today. We have got a great selection of these new Traverses ready for you to take home. And also, we got great discounts on our Silverado trucks. We got the regular cab, crew cab, double cabs, discounted up to $9,000 off. Great selection, Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, right on I-40.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You're listening to the Scoreboard, final segment of the program here today. Boy, oh boy, are we going to have some fun. We've been talking about NASCAR, final race of the regular season coming up later on this weekend. Also, coming up this weekend, well, coming up today, actually. Later on today. High school football. Yes, high school football games are going to be happening tonight. I have a list of games here that have been dubbed Games of the Week by Langston Wirtz over at the Charlotte Observer. By the way, I'm not ready to announce it, but we may be hearing from somebody over at Charlotte Observer who is covering high school football. So stay tuned next week. You may be getting some inside information. Shh. Anyway, a few of the games coming up this weekend include Statesville taking on Lake Norman. That is a big game this weekend coming up. I'm looking at picks from 6 local writers. It looks like right now, 4 of them have taken Statesville, 2 of them have taken Lake Norman High School. That is big, in my opinion. Lake Norman, they made a pretty deep run in the playoffs last year. And I'm not saying that Statesville High School has got a bad program. I'm just saying I would have expected Lake Norman to really be the favorite in this game. But according to these local writers, that's not the case. Other games that are big this week: Huff High School taking on Myers Park. That's going to be at Huff High School. It looks like all of the writers have Huff High School getting that one done. Mooresville is on the road taking on Reagan High School, and it is a clean sweep there. Everybody is picking Mooresville to get that victory. By the way, I want to go back to Statesville High School. Last year, Statesville High School was 8-4. Not a terrible year by any stretch of the imagination. 8-4. A lot of schools would be more than okay with an 8-4 record. But last year, Lake Norman was 9-2. They made a pretty deep playoff run, losing to Independence late in the season. I mean, that's a big one. And by the way, it's going to be at Lake Norman. So Statesville going down to Mooresville to take on Lake Norman High School. I'm going to go with the writers on this one. I guess we're going to have to say Statesville is going to be the team to beat in this one. Statesville High School did win their first game of the year, by the way. In case you weren't aware, they have already played a game this year. They beat Alexander Central 36-21 last week. Lake Norman also won their first game of the year. It was against North Mecklenburg. It was a shutout, 23-0 win. Some other schools in the area that we have covered in the past that we're going to continue to talk about. South Iredell, they got a win in week 1 against North Iredell. They had a pretty good year last year. We actually went to South Iredell last year to see them take on Lake Norman High School, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's where it was. So maybe we'll see if we can get out to some of these high school football games, get WSIC out in the community. So there is a lot of high school football going on. Like I said, Mooresville, another school that's playing tonight, taking on Reagan. Seems like Mooresville is going to be the high favorite on that one. Myers Park and Huff High School, Gibbons and Mallard Creek. Mallard Creek, very good football program. You also have West Charlotte taking on Monroe and West Meck at Rocky River. Those are your games of the week so far. Also, there's other games going on. My alma mater, Pine Lake. Yes, Pine Lake. They have their first game of the year today, actually. They did not start last weekend. Their first game is this weekend. They're playing a team that has already played 2 games. That's a 7 o'clock start tonight. South Lake Christian Academy, 1-1, taking on Lake Norman, who is 0-0. They've yet to start their season. Good luck to Pine Lake. Hopefully they're able to start the year strong. I'm hoping. Love seeing my alma mater do good in football, especially because, well, I played football for them when I was in high school. Long time ago. I don't think you can find the stats. I don't think you want to find the stats. Don't look it up, please. Don't do it. Anyway. Some other things to keep in mind. There is more college football coming up tonight. A few big games. You have number 16 Oklahoma hosting Temple. Duke and Elon are going to square off against each other. It'll be Elon traveling to Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham. Duke 23-point favorite in that one right now. The closest line spread that we have for tonight is going to be TCU at Stanford. That is an 8.5-point spread for TCU to get that one done. Everybody else, 20 points or more. Temple in Oklahoma is a 43-point line. I hope we have some competitive football today. You know, last night, a lot of the games had really big lines where, like, man, they're favored by 17.5 points. I think NC State was favored by over 20. Now, they ended up doing good last night. They almost got a 20-point win. Not quite, but it was looking like, man, that's not going to be anywhere close to where the line was set. So college football tonight as well. Saturday, you have a full slate of college football, probably the biggest game of the day. Number 14 Clemson on the road taking on number 1 Georgia. That is in Mercedes-Benz Stadium where the Falcons play. Georgia, 11.5-point favorite in that one. That's going to be a noon kickoff on ABC. Big one right there. Gotta love it. Exciting stuff. And then we have a game Sunday as well, and Monday on the holiday. Florida State with their second game of the year. Coming up on the end of the program on this Friday, so let's go ahead and jump to this day in sports history, starting with something that happened quite a while ago. Actually, 1922, over 100 years ago. Babe Ruth was thrown out of a game today in 1922. It was the 5th time that he's been thrown out of a game in the year 1922. Hothead over there. On this day, where'd it go? 1905. There it is. Detroit Tigers future Baseball Hall of Fame center fielder Ty Cobb makes his MLB debut, and he got a double in his first ever game. MLB Hall of Famer. As I sneeze in studio. Also, something that happened on this day in history. More Olympic stuff for you. 1987. I'm sorry, this one is not Olympics. This is just World Championship track and field. Carl Lewis won the gold medal in the 100-meter after Ben Johnson was disqualified. That was the second World Championships in athletics. On this day, 1987, Kirby Puckett went 6 for 6 with 2 home runs. That is a day right there. 6 for 6. 2006, Greg Maddux won his 330th career game. Andy Roddick retired on this day in 2012. He announced that he would be retiring after the U.S. Open. That was this day, 2012. And the first WNBA championship was today. Houston Comets beat the New York Liberty. That was on this day, 1997. Thanks, everyone, for coming to hang out with me on the scoreboard here today and throughout the week. Watch some college football, watch some high school football, NASCAR, baseball. We really didn't have time to get into baseball today. Things are close in the baseball world. We're coming up on September, the final month of the regular season. The fight for the playoffs, man. There's teams that are still fighting. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you have a great weekend. Go enjoy the world of sports. Enjoy the long weekend. I'll see you guys Monday. Until then, have a great night. Have a great weekend. See ya.
Serving you better than ever before. 105.9